Welcome to the brand new criminal content on your very own all-time crime. Today you will dive deep into the world of modern crime, which not only has drugs and cartels, but murders, deaths, and betrayals. We bring to you the inside story of the world's most dangerous motorcycle club, Caloh Wagoh. This motor club is one of the most violent criminal organizations, screening a reign no less than terror and crime. This Dutch crime organization has so many secrets and a long-driven past that you would stay amazingly glued to its story. So, are you ready to face the truth behind the shining motorcycles and the world of Caloh Wagoh? Let us understand how the modern criminal mind works and get to know why Caloh Wagoh is the most dangerous motor club of all. Caloh Wagoh holds an empire to itself, an empire of crime. They give shelter to brutal crimes, kidnappings, gruesome deaths, drug trafficking, and cartels traveling across borders. This Dutch murder syndicate has been involved in the cruelest crimes of the modern world. Their brutal tactics and monstrous agendas have left a deep shock on the authorities all over the world. Isn't it shocking that such a vicious organization has thrived for so long that everyone knows about it but cannot do much about it? This motor club is the reason for the most high-profile murders in Dutchland. The members are known as the Assassins of Holland, who take a hefty amount of money and kill the most prestigious of people. These victims are also famous names in the world of crime. Caloh Wagoh doesn't want one thing at all, and that is interference from a third-party organization. And Caloh Wagoh has made sure to protect their identities and the club. Do you know who these brutal assassins are? You would be shocked to know that these killers are mostly immature teenage boys and young adults. These immature and amateur members of the motor club do not know the complexity of such actions. They are blinded by the anger provoked in the light of taking revenge. These young lads do whatever they are asked to in greed of money. Let us now get to know how this club took birth and then birthed some of the most heinous crimes. This united gang was formed by a combination of two of the most criminally active organizations, the Trailer Trash Motorcycle Club and the Crips from The Hague. Hague and Delano were the mafias of the illegal world. Delano was at that time an aspiring murderer, and to prove his loyalty to the crime lord Hague, Delano killed his rival single-handedly. After the incident, the two joined forces and began their newly funded escapades. Hague paid a large sum of €70,000 for each murder completed successfully. He was known for this lifestyle by everyone, including the authorities. One of the most noted events under this joint crime scene was the murder of Yair Vessels. He was shot to death in a parking lot in Brooklyn. He was just back from Spain, where he enjoyed a lavish life which was very well known. He had arrived in the Netherlands to attend his daughter's performance at an event. Afterward, Vessels held a meeting with an interior designer and was driving his rented Volkswagen to meet the party. 45 minutes later, he was toward his next destination, the Brooklyn station. It was when a black car pulled up and parked in the same spot he was about to park. To his horror, a guy in a black mask opened fire on him, and after multiple shots, he was pronounced dead. Tony De Gea, a member of the club, was one of the prime suspects in the case, which was one of the most brutal murders in the history of the new joint motor club. Tony was the one who drove the getaway car after this cruel murder, and the two culprits, one of whom was Tony himself, switched to a different getaway car after setting up the previous one on fire with gasoline. This act set a bar for the hazardous crimes and notorious aftermaths that they can reach. This club had to be taken seriously by the authorities. This murder case has so much more to it, which makes this case as interesting as a movie. When the killer was shooting bullets into vessels, there was someone who stood near the garbage cans at just the right moment and witnessed all the events. These Caloh Wagoh killers did not wish to leave any evidence and thus took the life of another innocent. But if you think this was all Tony was capable of when it came to dreadful sins, hold on, because we have so much more. Tony had to kill his partner Zeki, whom he dealt with in narcotics. Zeki used to deal with vehicles and other businesses as well, but apart from being a partner, Zeki was a very good friend of Tony's father, who was part of the club at the same time as Tony. These three had a meeting together and sent pictures to the rising murderer criminal Delano to get rid of Zeki. Tony was doubtful of his intentions after the theft of some cocaine that was under Zeki's supervision. This whole mystery was yet to be revealed, and it did very soon when Delano was just on the verge of being caught. The police had caught more than enough evidence to put Delano under bars. In this situation, Delano did what everyone would have done. He returned to the root of his jeopardy and started threatening and blackmailing Tony. This put both of these in danger, and when Tony thought that his game was over, he tried his best to avoid Delano. When Zeki was found dead in a car by a random person, Delano's patience ran loose and he started threatening Tony even more. Before getting murdered, Zeki had shared with someone that he needed to go for an appointment to rent a car. Everyone assumed that Greg Ardelano's right-hand man was behind this death, but during this whole state of an enigma, Tony kept himself hidden in a safe spot by going to Spain. So strange. Is this a murderer trying to save himself from another murderer? A movie indeed. Tony had moved to Spain and kept himself safe from the hands of both the police and Delano, but one thing bothered him, which was the safekeeping of his family. Tony's family was back in the Netherlands, and what terrified him the most was that Delano knew where Tony's family was kept. Tony was now aware that he had kept his family in the riskiest position ever. The Spanish authorities were made aware of Tony's presence in their territory. They were also made known of his past criminal records, and now Tony was no longer safe anywhere. The Spanish police took immediate action and kept an eye on him. They watched every single move made by Tony, and his apartment was kept on surveillance 24/7. The Spanish people took pictures of Tony and his father and shared them with the Spanish as well as the Dutch police. The authorities were ready to arrest Tony, and they eventually did. Tony was handed over to the Dutch police and brought back to the Netherlands for further interrogation. What Tony did next was completely surprising. He confessed to all the crimes and sins he had committed, giving all the details from the minutest to the biggest. Tony was only worried about one thing now, and that was the safety of his family. He was charged with the murder of Yair Vessels and other connected crimes. He turned himself into the court and accepted to serve as a prisoner. He was safe inside the prison while the authorities gave his family safety. After Tony's arrest, the cartel was responsible for 6 more homicides and 10 further major offenses. Even though one of the main members of the Motorclub was under strict arrest and interrogation, the cartel was still under function. Tony had shared many insights into its functioning, but new men kept on becoming a part of this motor club and paved ways for newer and worse crimes. The Australian authorities banned any connection with the Caloh Wagoh Motor Club due to its long-drawn history of crimes and assassinations. What looked like a normal club of motorcycle enthusiasts to the outer world was a huge machinery working sometimes together and sometimes not to commit the most treacherous and brutal of crimes. Caloh Wagoh continued to proclaim its reign of terror while Tony DeGaia kept himself away from the hands of his new enemy. With this, we've come to the end of this video. What do you think about Tony's change of heart? Do you think of the future when he will get out? What will Delano do with him? A murder or a continued friendship? Share your views in the comments section below and make sure you like and share the video. Do not miss out on subscribing to our channel, All Time Crime, and stay updated on more crime-related content. I am sure you are as loyal as Tony was to Delano, and thus would surely have turned the notification on. We are very sure you want to know more about these crimes and criminals. See you in the next one. Bye.